Cambodia has changed incredibly since we first arrived in 1994. Back then, the country was still in the midst of a civil war, public utilities and infrastructure were almost non-existent, and people struggled just to survive. But today, Cambodia is well on its way to recovering from its tragic past. But even more striking than the changes brought about by international aid and development in the world around us are the changes that Jesus Christ has brought about in the lives of the Cambodian people. One person's life that's been changed is Thong Ta.
When I was 13 years old, the Khmer Rouge came to my village in Kampong Speu province and forced me to become a soldier.
Like many other young people, Thong Ta was conscripted into the Khmer Rouge army as they swept to victory in 1975. Over the next few years, Thong Ta was sent to fight on the Vietnamese border. In 1983, while on patrol with his unit, Thong Ta stepped on a landmine and lost his left foot. After 3 years of recovery, he was forced back into service and was moved to Tai Lin as part of the Khmer Rouge last stand until his unit defected to the new Cambodian government army in 1997.
I first heard the gospel about 2 or 3 years ago on the radio, and what really caught my attention was that it taught about being good and that God would lead us and help us to be good and not to be cruel.
After hearing of God's compassion and grace on the radio and seeing it in the lives of Christians in his town, Thong Ta gave his life to Jesus, and within a year he joined a small group from his church studying with the Cambodia Cassette Bible Institute.
The CCBI lessons have been very beneficial in teaching you how to be good, and through these lessons I now understand the Bible much better.
Today, the Cambodia Cassette Bible Institute is helping people just like Thong Ta studying in small groups across the country. In cooperation with 3 local Bible schools, we are working in 7 locations, from Sihanoukville in the south to Battambang in the north. In the coming months, new groups will be starting in 7 more locations, bringing the total number of students to well over 100. The Cambodia Cassette Bible Institute is working to build the church by bringing Bible school training to pastors and lay leaders right in their own communities.
In little more than a decade, Cambodia has gone from a tragic country caught in the grip of poverty, war, and isolation to being a rapidly developing country that continues to change from day to day. No place is that more evident than in the media revolution currently sweeping the country.
New ways for people to access information and ideas are springing up every day. Whether it's TV, radio, newspapers, advertising, the internet, or some other emerging area of communication, everywhere people turn, they're being flooded by a sea of voices all competing for their attention. And media can help the church make its voice heard above the crowd.
The Cambodian church has also experienced amazing growth in the last decade. In 1994, there were approximately 120 evangelical churches. Today, that has grown to more than 2,400 churches. Yet many of these new Christians and their leaders have little or no access to ongoing training and discipleship. The Cambodia Cassette Bible Institute was set up to help meet this need.
We're working together with 3 local Bible schools, a Christian radio station, and a number of church groups to provide cassette-based distance education to pastors and lay leaders across the country. We're using media to bring churches the training they need right in their own communities.
The youth of Cambodia also represent an incredible opportunity for the church. 70% of the population is under the age of 24, and they are open to new ideas and answers. The Tabors are producing 2 children's radio series to reach this group with the Word of God.
The 2 children's radio shows we're producing are based on the Dan and Louie programs from the U.S. Basically, we tell Bible stories as well as testimony stories from around the world and show how the lessons learned in these stories can then be applied to the kids' lives right here in Cambodia.
In addition to broadcasting these stories by radio to over 50% of the country, they are being used on CD and cassette at both Christian schools and public schools to help teach children how to live a life pleasing to God.
The exciting thing about working with Media Ministries is that there are new ways opening every day for us to share the gospel with people across the country. Media is giving the church a new voice in Cambodia.